Hey everyone, it's Jay again, and today I'm playing a game called Home. Your game will be saved automatically at certain points. However, we recommend you put aside an hour and a half to complete Home in a single sitting. Okay, I guess I can do that. Move left and right, look up. Interact. Pre-game. Wear headphones, turn off the lights. That's already happened. Finding myself alone. Oh. Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There's something on my feet. A flashlight. The house. Where was I? There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it? What the hell? Freaking cat. Oh, didn't mean to open the door, but I guess that works. The desk had a computer and some papers on it and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the door? Yes. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. It looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? I really shouldn't be going through their stuff. I'm getting my fingerprints everywhere. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes, my pants. Oh man, I had to get out of here. I really don't like opening the door like that. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home and seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. Oh, some more. The bookshelf was full of books on local history and hunting. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for two people. There were dozens of beer cans, and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guess there was no reason for me to keep this, to take it. No. I figured this was no help to me, so I left it behind. How big is this house? Stuck in traffic covered. It looks frantic. No. A collection of rusty tools. They looked like they'd seen a lot of use. They were caked in damp smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed? I found a picture of a couple. It looked like it had been moved a lot. There seems to be a switch behind it. Where's the switch? Yes. It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a far away click somewhere. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. The bathroom was incredibly clean. Every surface had been thoroughly wiped, and nothing seemed out of place. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out of it, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. It seemed odd that the tray had been left there, considering how clean the rest of the bathroom was. The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. Weird. door was taped up and seemed to be locked, but the smell, I guessed it, led to the kitchen. I gave the door a hard shove, and to my surprise it cracked open. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard, Ocker, last one. I promise. It didn't seem to make much sense to me. I forget that I can check the ceiling. I need to do that more often. Ladder. The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I found a way to... I must have moved it right. I heaved the box forward and it finally gave. There was a ladder going underground where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? Yeah. My leg hurt like hell as I climbed down the ladder. The tunnel below was even darker than the smell and the smell wasn't getting any better. But I had to get away out of here, find my way home. Footprints in the dirt looked more than one. Kinda a lot of traffic. It was an old map of the town. Places all over were marked. The industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old trail station. The guy upstairs must have done this, but what was his interest in the water tower? Newspaper clips from the local paper. They were all about murders in the town over the last few years. Wait, they were photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, try to find some kind of information. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. Did I take it? No. I didn't even want to touch the thing. Bet I left it right where it was. Probably should have taken it, but whatever. I'm playing... a door? They were scratched out and little notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. He-iv? Heavy... Huh. Looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the rims looked old. Who put them here? It's weird how there's a door there with just a made rack slung together with poorly cut wooden rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Rusted hooks looks like a kind of hung butcher from the ceiling. Did the man upstairs, did he do this? The smell in that room was like old grease and rot. I wasn't getting any closer to finding something useful. Crudely made shells looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. Looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating in the bottom. Something wet. God, this place is huge. Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes have old clothes in them. Clothes I remember throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing there? That's really creepy. Get out my way, bats. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. There's a rope hanging there, and I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Yes. Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. That's exactly what I was thinking. The rope I found would have let me climb down the ladder safely. I climbed down, yep. Okay, I can probably climb back up, but I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. A bunch of old newspapers we'd pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave in. Man. I wasn't getting freaked out before, but I'm starting to get freaked out. My hands tingled from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky that I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had jumped down. Still, it was all I could do to not have rushed out of that awful place. That rack, those terrible tools. What the hell was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a beat at the sound. As I peered ahead into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken that gun. I saw, but me with a gun? Explosive ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled out through there, but it was so high up that must have been a sore landing. Maybe it was me earlier. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. I could hear a tickling sound like water. What was that? It says exit. Kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I was relieved to leave the filthy knife where I found it. I should probably gone through that exit door. Wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how to work. Wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? What is this? Is the one that was pumping water. Water anymore. The door was locked. That was a nasty smell from inside. Wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? That was still active. Did I turn it? Did the one wasn't going water anymore? Sure. So I just went by, turned all these valves off. I guess I'm heading to the exit door. I'll take it now. Turns out those must have drained the water that was in this room. That I could reach. Oh, ha ha ha. It looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. It's convenient for me. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? Let's take the door first. The door is locked. I could see a faint light within. Yeah, just said that. Dead body. A sewer worker. He was a mess, but he looked like he had been stabbed. I could see a keyring that had fallen out of his pocket. Did I take it? Yes. Or the nerd just snatched the keyring away to put it in my own pockets. There's a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what had happened. Fresh air here. I was anxious to leave, but I couldn't help to wonder what that key unlocked. items in the locker I passed. Should I have gone back to check? I gingerly climbed the ladder, my leg protesting with each step on the way. I'm really happy to be out there, though. Where the heck am I? A ladder? I can go to the ancient water tower. Next to the ladder. A patch of some smeared dirt and grass. There's a beat up old wallet. Was missing ID or card, so it had a bit of cash left in it. I didn't want to take the cash. So into my back pocket and wondered where my credit card and driver's license were. From the railing I could see over the woods and down the entrance. If I did something, someone definitely could have seen me. Okay, what the heck? I definitely want out of here. Faded sign on the door warned about some kind of train yard. It must have referred to the town's only train station, or whatever it said. Didn't look like I'd be able to get through there at all. Yeah, okay. You don't have to repeat yourself. Various campsites. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see. God. I trampled into the dirt and grasped a plastic card. See my credit card. But it was mine. Yeah, I took my credit card. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated building. I wondered if I could find my way around here. Wait. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook too there. Will I read it? Instead of the cheap dollar store notebook was page after one page of names and lists. That would have made sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose. Rachel? Rachel, her name was on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia has been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Crazy. Ah, this is the other side. Small patch in it that looked almost clean. Okay. Musty wooden planks popped out of the stall. Didn't really seem to bother to take it. Sure, I wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. You never know. Don't look, no, no, no. Weird. The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. The close, damp air of that forest clung to me like a cloak as I pressed onto the gate. I was somewhat relieved to see a bit more light on the path ahead. It was as if the trees were finally letting me through, giving me a way out. That notebook I had discovered didn't seem helpful, but since I read it, I couldn't put it out of my mind. What did it all mean? Okay. As I to the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I worked as a mechanist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Behind me, like behind the door. Whoa, what the hell? A security guard just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood and from some kind of head wound. I wonder, was this flashlight his? I dug into the ground. There was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve the watch? Sure. My watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. I wish I could remember. Why was all my stuff missing? One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around. Looked like someone had been looking for something. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, smacking off the other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cables had been collecting on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The other door was locked shut, and there's a little electronic box under the handle close to repairs. Yeah. Every part of this place smelled old and rotten. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The bulletin board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There was notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was almost a Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. How do I know that? A power panel. Wow. There's a photo of a woman taped to the inside. The face is unrecognizable. That's useful. Should take a rusty card-looking slot. I did see something about saying the last locker. Try and open it like I did before. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. Oh, I guess I worked here. So this must be the mechanic shop, I guess? Sure. It wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Yes. got all the power working now. Let's go back downstairs. Go back to that door. And use the key card that I just found. Found seemed like it would pass through the reader. Did I use a card reader? Yes. There's some kind of ventilation hatch there. I could jump in the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see another option. I was too chicken to jump down that broken ladder before. Why do it now? There had to be another way. Get downstairs again. Must be something I'm missing. Oh, I'm back outside. Oh. It didn't look like I could... It didn't look like the footprints were mine, but they were probably too faint to tell. Floor never did get the repairs needed. That was a weird noise. So there were some deep scratches like some kind of tool or blade. Nice. Oh, hey. Well, that's probably where I got the flashlight. The smell of dirt trees washed over me as I escaped the olfactory. I thought the guard I had found supine against the fence. He looked like he'd been dealt a serious blow and hadn't a clue what was coming. But why kill a guard? I had to keep going to find Rachel. I hoped the dirt trail in front of me would lead me closer to town, and I thought to help. A rusty old truck had careened off the road and into the guardrail. Its front was crushed and its windows had all smashed. Judging by the rust, it had been there for a while. I keep seeing eyes in the forest. I don't like it. Weird. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and sleek black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Yes. Cleaned the card off and as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card in my wallet, never next to my credit card. That's so strange. Sounded like it was going to rain again. I entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. Why the heck did I go into his house? The store was locked from the inside. It looked like I couldn't just pop it open. It needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole. Huh. What in the... Whoa. Just from jail. Jesus, I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. Nora and my coworker, and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he had been killed trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? Yes. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly I closed Norman's eyes. What? Sure. Found a hairpin. It's really weird that I'm digging through people's kitchen garbage. A weathered sleeping kit bag. I wasn't sure. Seeing the camping gear only reinforced my relief at being out of those woods. There was a large cardboard box that hadn't been sealed. Did I open it? The box was a pile of clothes. I realized they were Rachel's. What were you doing here, Rachel? Were you responsible for poor Norman downstairs? I don't think Rachel did it. Whoa. Oh wait, that's just the camping gear. I feel like it's possible that Norman was the one who has been spying on me, at least that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I still haven't found a key. I was entirely surprised to find this there. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. I always wondered what happened to it. How long had it been here? There was a well-maintained gun cabinet here in Norman's room. I didn't know much about guns, but it looked like it was a few hunting rifles and maybe even a few pieces he shouldn't have. One of the guns was missing. It's weird that I didn't find any key. I did find the hairpin, but I mean, I don't think good enough. Why is my character thinking Rachel did it though? I mean, alright. I don't think I'm good enough to lockpick it. Yeah. Oh wow, it worked! That's amazing. It had usual things, postcard, snacks, magazines, canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. It was mostly empty. I've had a stack of travel magazines set beside it. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. Its contents were half melted. Water tower looked to be in much better shape then. I'm glad to be leaving. That night continued to take a horrible turn after horrible turn. It had been weeks since I'd last seen Norman, but I found him like that. Who could have done that to him? Seeing that old dusty box of those old clothes, that was a shock. How long had they been there? And what was Rachel doing at Norman's place? I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers. But I was close to home. It was time to find out the truth. I don't know why I randomly picked number 3. The neighborhood locals post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but I'm not gonna take a letter. Okay. I'd entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was afraid to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and stained. I flickered the light switch. By the door, the power was off. Wait, weird. The tip was clean. It hadn't been used anytime recently. The door to the basement was locked. Where did I put that key? Small pile of mail on the front. I don't have it anyway. Why hadn't Rachel picked it up? Bills. There was a credit card bill in there. I opened this. Wrote the bill open. It said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from the inside. I couldn't go out, so I needed to see if Rachel was here. An old photo of Rachel and me stared back at me, reminding me of those better times. It hadn't... I'll keep it. I placed the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? The television, I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt awkwardly guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. The pieces are slowly coming together. Keyhole underneath the handle. A broken mirror. The sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those old-fashioned, those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in my drawer. I'll get the key. Half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like that man in that old house had some of the same books as I did. My wife's Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. Is this what you were going to do with Norman? Rachel, why? Why were you going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? I have to go into that room. It was locked, which was that down here? Was this it? No, this is where this is the front. That's where I came in. And that's the front door. The chairs overturned. That's the TV that I felt guilty about buying. Didn't I find a locked door somewhere? That wasn't this one. I remember him saying a little while ago, where did I put that key? And this is where I got the key. It must have been on the first floor. Okay, this is the TV room. This door. Basement. Christmas decorations. That were stuffed with old paint cans. There was a dirty old key in there, sure. divider. I put this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck with the drywall. Didn't I take some planks with me? And a hammer? Looked like the room had been tossed around, the furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? Yes, I definitely want the crowbar. Would have been strong enough to bust through the wall that cheap. Yes. Smashed a hole. Step through. Step through the broken wall, my breath. Was Rachel down here? Was she okay? Don't look. Why is don't look written everywhere? Don't look. Pile of rags. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had to go to the jar after all. Did I finally find Rachel? It was worse than I could have possibly imagined. Within the folds of that rottenly smelling heavy fabric was a pale, dead figure of my darling wife. What struck me most was that she wasn't bloody or torn apart, rather. She was covered in sickly green bruises and her windpipe had been crushed. The real horror there was whoever had killed her had done so intimately with bare hands. So this is what had been gnawing in the back of my mind this whole time, what I was afraid of. I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs, reluctantly exhausted from my journey. I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. Well, with its contents intact. I'd rather drop that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman store that forest, the watchtower, was at this place as before? Yeah. I didn't see how it could have happened any other way. It must have been the one... But what does that mean? Oops, I thought I went all the way downstairs. Until I thought... Okay. What am I gonna do? I couldn't make... Until I'd gone over everything. I'll safe. What was that 8-digit code again? I don't know. No, that wasn't it. Heather, Olivia, Ashley. Oh my god. Those poor girls were the victims of the same person who had killed Rachel. I wonder what happened to the other names on that list, or the one scratched down the desk in those wet tunnels. Wait, the man in that house. Was he responsible? When I woke up, I found him dead already. I knew Rachel couldn't have been the one that did it. For now on, I have no one to get angry with me for this stupid things like buying this TV. Gotta go back in here. This room is strangely suspicious. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's. What was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yes. Who was it have been? I had made up my mind. Grammy glass on. It was only a shadow of a whisper. We should love this part of the house. Within the few broken pieces of my there, that was decided. So is that everything? Seemed like I had seen all there was. I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. I couldn't go back into that room again. On one way. Okay, I'm confused. That was it. With Rachel gone, I couldn't stand. Sure. I wanted to stay. Had been good for me. It kept me on the line, gave me something to do, and helped me get through the past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours. At a time, drinking was probably the way to deal with it. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense after a while. That and my memories of what happened are still in flux, but I know Rachel had tried. I know she tried to be there for me even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. Even the man I had found in the old place was a mystery. Why was he dead? Or who had done it to him was not something I could even begin to understand, or why, for the matter, I was in that damn room in the first place. I knew Norman wasn't completely innocent in all this. He was obviously going back into the factory, rooting in those lockers, but he had brought that poor guard I had found to his end. It certainly seemed so, but I almost didn't want to believe it. I had to catch my breath to take it all in. Up until the factory, things had only gotten worse, but then I had seen everything when... but then I had seen everything even when I wouldn't have expected. When I went to Norman's store, that's when my perspective on all that's when my perspective on all this really started to change. Norman was dead, but I had no idea what had happened to him. Finding Rachel's things at his store, though, had been the ultimate shock. I would get no answers now, but that didn't stop my head from reeling with questions. But as painful as all that was, oh God, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I had done and seen, finally was coming home was supposed to be the end of this entire ordeal. God help me, though, it was only the beginning. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of the wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife, just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. I feel like I rushed through the game too quickly. I definitely want to go back and see if there's another ending to this. I feel like I definitely missed a lot. The next time you play, you will start from the beginning.